Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare. Okay. Yes, I would like to again begin the session thanking each and every one of you for being present here. This must be the Sunday early noon there.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your time and the interest to hear from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And our special thanks to Lakshman Prabhuji, whom we knew from Qatar days. We used to be in Qatar earlier. So thank you for considering us. And yes, we'll begin right away with our prayers, pranam mantras, and then we'll start the session. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindurba eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. And really, we all enjoyed the Kirtan performed at Mataji. Very soulful. And she's really a blessed person. Thanks for that, Mataji. And the entire team who did the Kirtan. Thanks for that. Okay, so today, the topic for discussion are the verses from chapter 10, Bhagavad Gita, verses starting from 26 to 30. Right? Okay. Oh, thanks for that. Okay. So basically this chapter, what is the name of the chapter? Most of my sessions will be very interactive. So I hope you will all take some time to answer some of the questions which I would be asking now and then. What is the name of this particular chapter?
The opulence of the absolute.
The chapter is
Yes.
opulence of the absolute.
Yes, opulence of the absolute. Yes, thanks for that. So now, and this is placed from chapter 10, we can understand what are the opulences. So before we get into this, see, I've basically divided today's session into 3 parts. One is we are going to have a kind of background to understand why Krishna has narrated his opulences in this particular chapter. Then, and there will be a lot of questions there, some interactions there. And then followed by that, we will have a brief discussion on these slokas because most of them are self-understandable. And the last portion will be a short story on this particular topic. Okay, so now we'll start with the first session. Okay, my first question is, what is the purpose for this material world? What's the purpose of this material world?
To find our way back to Godhead.
Yes, I heard the second portion, go back to Godhead, and before that? Okay.
No,
so
that's all I said.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. So this is a place for us to reform and rehabilitate ourselves. This is a platform so that we can all go back to Godhead. Okay. How to go back to Godhead? or when do we go back to Godhead?
If we become fully Krishna conscious while in the material life, still
Yes.
we go to the Godhead.
So we'll go back to
Supreme Lord, Supreme Godhead.
I could hear partially, but okay. So
He said if we become fully Krishna conscious, then we can go back to Godhead.
okay, yes. So basically, our reactions for whatever pious or impious activities that we have done, they should all be equal to what? They should be zeroized, right? And that is possible only when we are devoted to Krishna.
Krishna.
So where in Bhagavad Gita Krishna gives this promise? How to make our sinful reactions nil or zero?
One place very particular, it's throughout the chapters. It talks about throughout the chapters, but basically
Throughout the chapters.
yes.
Okay. What is the essence of the entire Gita? Yes, that's right. Sarva dharman parityeja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Exclusively we take shelter of the Lord, pure Krishna consciousness. Then aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayikshami ma suchave. Said, do not fear, I will zeroize all your reactions. So that's the time we go back to Godhead. Now, surrendering to the Lord is the essence of Gita, right? How to surrender? The next question is how to surrender.
With
So
faith
these,
and determination.
yes, with faith and
Determination.
determination. Thanks for that. Okay. So 18.6 is Krishna says Sarva Dharman, and 18.65 Krishna gives the components of surrender. Same thing is mentioned in last verse of 9th chapter. The chapter, just one chapter before the 10th chapter.
9.34
9.34.
Man
Yes.
madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame shesi
Yes.
yukta vekonte yukta.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So these are the 4 components. And what's the first one? Manmana bhava mat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. These are the 4 components of surrender. Okay. So 9th chapter throughout and exclusively 9.34. What we understand is that Krishna is establishing one thing as our goal in our life. And what's that? And what's that?
What was the question? Maybe, I'm sorry.
The question is that Krishna throughout the 9th chapter and especially 9.34, the last verse of the chapter, he's establishing something which will be the goal of everyone's life.
To go back
We
to
should
Him.
go to the Krishna.
Okay, yeah, okay. So which means devotion unto him, right? So that's the reason he is discussing his opulences. Why? Because to know about one's opulence will increase the devotion. Like, for example, when we come to know of Krishna's opulences, our devotion towards Krishna will increase. Our appreciation for him increases. Like, for example, if you come to know, you have a friend, but at that time you didn't know anything much about that person. But later you come to know that he is a millionaire. So what will be our reaction?
We'll be shocked.
Yeah, we'll be shocked, but at the same time we'll admire because he is so intimately connected with you. Never a time there was any, ego clash or attitude. He was such a down-to-earth person, so intimately connected. So you'll start admiring that person, right? And our appreciation for the person also increases. Just let us apply the same thing for Krishna. What will be our feeling towards him when we come to know of his opulence? I'm sure we all have a fair idea of what we're going to talk about in this particular chapter. So don't we all feel blessed that we are devoted to someone who is the greatest? And we feel very grateful that we are able to intimately reciprocate with such a person, right? So that's what Krishna establishes in verse 10.7. He says, knowing my opulences will make a person fixed in devotion to Krishna. So having told this to Arjuna, see, Arjuna has been hearing since 8.2 actually. 8th chapter, 9th chapter, 10th, he comes, he asks, he asked Krishna, you have been telling that we have to fix our mind unto you. That's what you told in 6.47. Yoginam api sarvesham mat gatena antaratmanah. 9.34 also same thing. Manmana bhava mat bhakto. So that's when Arjuna is inquiring from Krishna. In 10.16, verse 10.16 is asking, what are the opulences? Can you elaborately explain about that? I'm really eager to know, because how much ever I hear from you, I don't feel satiated at all. And he asked some questions. How shall I constantly think of you? How shall I know you? Right? But then these inquiries were made not because that Arjuna didn't know, because even before inquiring all this, what he says after hearing from Krishna, the famous Chatusloki Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what he says, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram. He already glorified Krishna, and he is completely convinced that Krishna is the greatest, he is the absolute truth, and he is Bhagavan. Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. All choicest words, every word in that particular sloka describes the true nature of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Okay, so he is inquiring. So why did Arjuna made these inquiries then? Although he already told about this in 10.12. So why is he inquiring about how shall I know you? How shall I constantly think of you in 10.17?
He's inquiring for the benefit of the general public, for all of us.
Yes, that's right. For all of us. Yeah. So that we who are materially contaminated in this material world, it'll be easy for us to concentrate our mind on physical representations, right? Than on the spiritual form of the Lord. It becomes more easier. So Krishna gives us easier methods by pointing out a few things. And he also says that I'm going to tell you only pradhanya, the prominent ones. And we will discuss about that briefly later. So how to know then? So Krishna says, if you know my opulences, you will become firm in the devotion unto me. So how to know Krishna's opulence?
From Krishna only.
Yeah, Krishna or his devotees. That's what Krishna says. Hear from me, listen to me. 9.1, he says the same thing throughout the chapter. Then 10.1 also he says the same thing. Just hear, because you're my friend. Yeah, Arjuna's bhav has increased. He has become his closest friend. He says, because you're non-envious, you're my friend, I am giving you this knowledge. It is absolutely not possible to know Krishna unless we hear about him from Krishna directly or from his devotees. Okay, now hearing, and what Krishna says, if you hear me, whatever I say, I am giving you this knowledge, because what will happen? you will be freed from sins and you will be thus liberated. And later he narrates, he lists down certain qualities, if we see in 4th and 5th verses. So the conclusion of that we can understand is the basic requirement will be that we all should be in the mode of goodness. These qualities will help one in knowing Krishna, help in knowing the unknowable Krishna, right? He is inconceivable, right? Achintya. But they cannot reveal Krishna on their own. Why? Because even mode of goodness is part of the 3 modes of material nature, right? So if you see, we living entities are in various modes, like mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. And Bhagavan is here. Okay. First of all, there's a level mismatch. And second, there is a platform mismatch, right? So what we'll have to do is, at least the basic requirement is that we have to raise our qualities minimum to mode of goodness. Still, the level is not matching because this is material and this is spiritual. So so whatever we do, which is part of this material world, will come into either of these 3 modes. But the moment we start performing akarma, right? What is that? What is the meaning of the word akarma? Activities performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Then there is no karma involved. There is no reaction there. So it becomes what? We will raise ourselves, we'll transcend the 3 modes and we'll come to the Suddha Sattva mode. And then we can match, because both are, it's in the Brahmabhuta platform, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma, right? So we come to that platform level at least. But again, the platforms are different. So we'll have to meet at a junction. How the trains we change, right? Platform. How is it happening? Because there'll be a junction where it'll come, and then you can get down from one and then go and sit in the other train. So similarly, we'll have to make a junction. How junctions will happen? Both the transcendental position where Krishna is there and the devotee is there, we'll have to meet, which means both should have the same thought process. Krishna says, Bhagavatam, he says, I am in my devotee's heart and devotees have only me in their heart. They don't know anything apart from me. I also don't know anyone apart from my devotees. So there is no Pritak Bhav. There is Eka Bhav. They are in the same platform now, right? So how this happens? Only when the person is completely, intimately devoted to the Lord. Such a person is an intelligent person, because 5.22 it says, Ramate Buddha, they don't delight, the wise person, they don't delight in anything that is arising from sense contact with the sense objects. Because these pleasures are all what?
Temporary.
They are short. Yeah, temporary. They are short-lived. It's going to be miserable later. So they are very much aware of it. And because of that, they do not delight in such pleasures, which means they're very cautious in keeping their mind away from this. Dhyato Vishayan Pumsa. So I was hearing a lecture. The Prabhuji was saying, why Dhyato Vishayan Pumsa? Dhyato means to meditate, right? Why on Vishayan? Why on material sense objects? Dhyato Krishna Pumsan, it should be. So there is no worry at all. So that's what Krishna is telling us. What now? Okay. There are various vibhutis or opulences Krishna mentions in this particular chapter, right? What should be our mood in understanding them? Okay, it will be like this. Krishna says, out of the many luminaries, like sun, moon, star, whatever, Krishna says, I am the sun, which means out of the many luminaries, the sun is the most powerful one or the most prominent one. But sun on its own accord does not have any power or energy. The sun gets the energy from whom? From Krishna himself. Yeah, so that's how we have to understand. So out of the luminaries, the sun is prominent, means Krishna is saying like that, the sun is representing me because he is the prominent among the luminaries. He says, na, among the men, the king is like the king, I am the king, which means the king is the most important person. When it comes to the prajas, the king is the most important person. So the king is representing the Supreme Lord. So this should be our understanding as regards every opulence Krishna is narrating here. Okay. So now one last part of this particular session. Then we will get into each and every vibhuti here. We'll do a run through. Then we will end with one nice story, a real story. Okay. Now we have understood why we have to know about Krishna, right? What is the end result of knowing Krishna? What is the end result of knowing Krishna?
We go back to Krishna.
Yes. 4.9 Krishna says, Janma karmacha me divyam. He says, right? Evam yo veti tattvataha. Tektva deham punarjanma. Tektva deham na iti. But mameti, he will come back to me. There is no rebirth for him. So one should know that Krishna's janma, that is his birth, his karma, his activities are all transcendental. Okay. One who knows these, for him, there is going back to Godhead and there is no coming back for him. So it helps us to reach. And there's one more important activity, which will be a sequential or a consequential byproduct of knowing Krishna. I'll give you a clue, like we can say
Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem.
Krishna Prem.
Prem.
Yes, of course. See what happens. Our love for Krishna automatically develops, as Krishna says in 10.7 that knowing more about my opulences, your devotion becomes very strong. He also says in 18.68. Okay, before coming to the other reason, he says that if you do this, your pure devotional service is guaranteed and you will come back to me. 18.68 he says. So I'll give you an example, like an analogy type. Okay, we have a say, for example, we have some a joint pain or something. Okay, so and doctor, he prescribes some gel for us and we apply it, and miraculously it is healed you. It's in matter of 2-3 days. So what will be our natural action towards that? What will be our next step? We got the cream and it was so badly aching. We applied it. 2-3 days, the pain has vanished. So what will we do?
We will say to others.
Yes, we will go and tell others. Hey, look at this. This particular gel is really a miraculous thing. It has helped me. Now I don't have any pain. I'm really very happy about it. So knowing about Krishna is something like that. It helps us to reach as well as to preach. So that's what Krishna says in 18.68. Those who go and preach about me to others. for such a person, pure devotional service is guaranteed. Then he will come back to me. 18.69, he further makes it very strong. He says, such a person who is going out and telling about me to others is very dear to me. And Krishna didn't stop there. He says, and no one is more dearer than such a person. So if we know about Krishna, it will help us to reach, as well as it helps us to preach about him. Whatever we know 2 lines, we tell 2 lines to others. We know half line, we tell half line to others. And that's way we please Krishna. Okay, so the first part of our discussion is over. Now we'll open Bhagavad Gita, or Mataji, if you can share is also fine.
Yes, Mataji. Which verse would you like me to share?
We'll just have a run through from 10.26.
Okay.
Yeah, of all trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages, I am the demigod. Among the demigods, I am Narada. So here we see banyan tree. As Krishna gives so much of importance, he uses the same banyan tree to give us the analogy of our material existence in chapter 15. Yeah, so it's a very, very prominent, as Prabhupada says in the purport. People often worship the banyan tree. And of sages, I am the, of the Deva Rishis, I am Narada. What Narada generally does, he goes around chanting the holy name of the Lord, and he also arranges, either by so-called curse or his advice, he makes them as pure devotees of the Lord. See how much dear he will be to the Lord. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitrarata. Chitrarata is one of the Gandharvas here, and Gandharvas are known for their singing talent. And it is said that he only taught Arjuna how to sing. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila, Siddhanam. So among the Siddhas, he is sage Kapila, who taught the Sankhya philosophy to his own mother, Devahuti. And he is representing Krishna. Yes, Mataji, we'll go to the next verse. Thank you. Yeah. Of horses, know me to be Uchai produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata. And among men, I am the monarch. So here we see 3 personalities. Uchai is a horse, Airavata is the elephant, and men, yeah, as we discussed some time back, among human beings, he said, I am the king, because king is a prominent person. So Krishna is saying he is representing me among the human beings, because Krishna maintains all of us. So, and like the king who maintains his prajas, he takes the responsibility for their well-being. So, and these days, we don't know how, but Krishna never changes. And Ucheshrava and Airavata, they came out when the milk ocean was churned. And so they were very prominent. Here we see of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Surabhi. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa, or the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki. So the Vasuki was used as a rope in that Samudra Manthan. When the mountain was kept, they needed a rope to churn the mountain, to take out the Amrit. So this serpent called Vasuki was used. Kandarpa. So we hear this sloka from Brahma Samhita. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Visesha Shobham. Krishna's beauty is, even if you take crores of Kandarpa, still they cannot mesmerize Krishna's beauty. It seems once I heard from a senior devotee, when Radha and Krishna were having their pastimes. So, this god of love, he comes there and he tries to, that flower arrow, they say, right? The arrow of love, tries to release it. But then when he looks at Krishna, he faints. he's not able to take the beauty of the Lord. Radharani was also there. So Kandarpa Koti, even crows of Kandarpa cannot match the beauty of our Supreme Lord, of our dear friend Krishna. Okay. And among cows, I am the Surabhi. Again, there are many lakhs and thousands and crores of Surabhi cows in the Supreme planet. And they will give milk at any time and unlimited quantity, not like the ones in the material world. And here 29, of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta. It is said that Vasuki is a serpent, right? And here it is a Naga. Types of snakes, but Vasuki is supposed to be a single hood. Here it is said, many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta. And among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of the departed ancestors, I am Ariyama. And among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the Lord of Death. So yes, these are the prominent personalities. Yamaraj, one of the 12 Mahajans. Dharmaraj, so he is very prominent the moment we leave our body, depending on the type of sins we perform. The very serious ones he takes up. So he's a very important personality. So he is representing Krishna as the Lord of Death. Okay, Mataji, we'll go to the last one. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Among subduers, I am time. Among bees, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda. Yes, generally we say lion is the king of the jungle. So we see the king, the lion being very prominent in the jungle. The lion is representing Krishna. And among birds, I am Garuda. We know because Garuda is the personal carrier for Krishna, Lord Vishnu. Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. Although Daitya means, Prabhupada explains in the purport that Kashyapa Muni's, two of his many wives, Aditi and Diti. Children born from Diti are Daityas. Children born from Aditis are Adityas. And Daityas are supposed to be demonic. Okay. Although Prahlad Maharaja is from that party of demonic people, his father being Hiranyakashipu, uncle Hiranyaksh, still he was very much devoted. Because of whom? Because of Narada Muni, who gave shelter to Kayadu, who was that time pregnant with Prahlad, and gave her shelter in his ashram, and he was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam for her every day, and Prahlad used to hear very much, very devotedly he used to hear. So we see how powerful is hearing, as Krishna says, just hear. With a non-envious mood, it's possible that we become devoted. And among subduers, I am time. Yes, Krishna says later also that as time, I clear up everything. Prabhupada gives his example, right? The rat in the mouth of the cat and a kitten in the mouth of the cat. Who is happy? The rat or the kitten?
Kitten.
Kitten is happy because it's in the mother's mouth. The rat, and for the rat, what is the cat representing?
Death.
Death, yes. Thanks. So like that. For us, for devotees, Krishna may come as time, as Kala, but we are not afraid because we know that we are going at least one step closer to Krishna. At least we know that what our next Janma will be, depending on how much we are devoted to the Lord this birth. But for those who are not, and those who are having the atheistic mentality, they know time, it takes out everything. Nothing from this material world, even not a single piece can be taken along with that person. So very powerful. Yes, Mataji. So we have completed the verses for discussion. So now we know that why we should know about Krishna, specifically about this opulences, because that's our discussion topic of discussion today. Okay, so now the third section is about a story. From our discussion, we have understood when we see few things of this material, in this material world, the idea is what? To remember Krishna. And our Krishna consciousness is nothing but what? To always remember Krishna and to never forget Krishna. This is the plus. This is a, what is it? Yama niyama, they say, right? So this is the by which we stand guided by this, to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So to do that, whatever is possible, Krishna is helping us through his words in Bhagavad Gita, so that whenever we see them, whenever we talk or hear about them, immediately our thought should be diverted to whom?
Krishna.
Krishna, yes. Okay, so okay, so from our discussion, what's the most difficult thing to give to Krishna?
Ocean.
Our mind.
Our mind.
Yes, our mind. To give our mind, to devote our mind to Krishna is the most difficult thing. So let's see a story in relation to this, a true story. See, in Puri Jagannath, the Lord comes out, right, in Ratha. But not all of us are able to go attend that Ratha Yatra. Not all of us are able to go to even Puri for that matter. So it is believed, and I believe it is still there, the practice is still there. What happens is the Pandas, what they do, they carry some prasadam from Jagannath Puri and they go to some places or to someone's house who was not able to attend or who is not able to come to Puri for darshan, for the Lord's darshan. So like this, one day, one Panda from Jagannath Puri, he takes with him his prasadam and he goes to Rajasthan. Those is called Rajputna. He goes there and he meets with that king. That particular place, there's one king. And he finds that king had a daughter. Her name was Vishnupriya. Like her name, she was very much devoted to Lord Krishna. She was very much, she was always talking about him. And the Panda was very happy, because the custom is that wherever they go like this, carrying prasadam of Jagannath, while they return, the particular host will give them lots of gifts and also lot of items for them to go and give it to Lord Jagannath. But eventually they will get it, because they are representing Lord Jagannath, how Jagannath comes out in the Rath to give darshan to others. Like that, they are going, representing him to the various houses. So, and he was thinking of, with all the gifts, what I'm going to get from this place, I'll buy many, many things. He's thinking what all he will buy in his village. Then when he goes, the day of his departure comes, and this girl makes it a point that, they pack nice prasadam for him. And she hands over about 10 gold coins to him, saying this, please accept this as our humble offering. And this guy is now very curious to know what she's going to give for Lord Jagannath. And then she hands over one letter. She says, this is my letter to Lord Jagannath. Kindly hand over this to him. This guy was really furious. He thought he was only used to, collecting many, many material things. So now he was like wondering, what is this one letter, one piece of paper this girl has given, and if she wants me to go and give also there. Oh, he gets irritated. Anyway, because he cannot do anything now. She's a king's daughter and he is in their place. So what he will do? He just quietly left the place. And on the way, he's thinking, somehow or the other, the moment I reach my village, there is one big dustbin. I will put this letter in that dustbin. Then only I'll be really irritated with this kind of reciprocation. He thinks like that. Then he goes. That night he reaches and then he has his prasadam, and then by the time he already picked away the letter into that garbage, and he goes to sleep. In the dream, Lord Jagannath arrives. He says, "You have displeased me to a very, very great extent." So this panda is like almost sweaty. He says, "What happened?" He said, "You did not hand over that particular letter which that girl gave it to you to give it to me." So, and the panda, in the discussion, in the dream, he's having discussion. He said, there are so many things, people are waiting in queues. Many people, thousands and lakhs of people are coming to take your darshan. With lot many things they come. For one single piece of paper, you are getting displaced. He asks like that. And he says, you don't know what she has written there. And so he asked out of curiosity, what do you think? It's all happening in the dream. So what's there in that particular paper? So Lord Jagannath, he displays those letters, those words in the letter on the sky. And what was that? She has written, "Oh Lord, you are such an opulent person. Okay. Mata Lakshmi is always with you. And there is nothing in the world that you don't have. You have everything. Such a person you are." What you did? You stole the minds of the gopis in Brajbhumi. Right? So which was very, very precious for you. I feel I have nothing to give you because you are as it is an opulent person. So I feel only my mind, which is unique, I can give it to you. So she says, I am offering my mind unto you, kindly accept. So, and then he orders in the dream to this panda, take that 10 gold coins that you have with you. You will cull out that paper from that garbage, and you will use this 10 gold coins. You'll go to the local goldsmith and you will, they will make it right in gold letters. He said, you will have to make it in a metal plate. You have to get this done. So, which means the Lord is valuing our mind, because it's very difficult as as Arjuna is telling Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he's saying, Sanchalam hi mana Krishna. It's very, very strong and obstinate. It's always flickering. Such a kind of a mind, how is it possible? See, I'm a person, I'm Savya Sachin. I can even block the raging wind, but I cannot control my mind. How should I do it? So Krishna says, by practice and with detachment. Vairagya and with abhyas. These two are the weapons by which you have to control your mind. So, yes, as we saw, the wise people, Ramate Buddha, we saw, right? The wise people, how they're practicing detachment from taking their dhyan away from the Vishayan, from the Visha, the objects, sense objects, material sense objects. And because only when we do that, what happens? We will be able to Hataha Sri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Grahyam Indriyai. With our own material blunt senses, it's not possible to realize the name, fame, paraphernalia, qualities of Lord Sri Krishna. Then how to make our materially blunt senses to, as we discuss, how to raise the platform is by Sevon Mukehi Jivadu, by rendering service to the Lord, which starts from our jiva, that is tongue. Right? So when we chant and when we also honor prasadam, we should have that in the mind. So that's what it says, when we chant, we should hear what we chant. And that way our mind is under control. We are offering our mind to the Lord, which is very difficult. You know how much we release small baby in the house, around a year or so, he or she will try to get up and walk, right? And they will fall also. Everything is so relishable for us, just the sight. Similarly, but the attempt made by that kid, we don't stop it, nor do we, nor we are afraid, oh, what will happen? Because eventually the child has to start walking, running, whatever activities. So similarly, Krishna will also like whatever attempts that we make in glorifying him, in controlling our mind. Okay, thank you so much. So our three-part discussion is completed by this.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a wonderful lecture where you have described the essence of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in such a clear and concise way, in so many relatable ways. And also the story that you shared at the end was very heart-touching. So even though we're running a little bit short in time, we'll take some questions. Dr. Madan Kunduji is here if he has a question.
Enjoyed your presentation. And I have a question. In this chapter, it talks about the opulence of the Absolute. But Krishna, when Arjuna, when asked, he wants to know more about his opulences. I don't know which chapter, he showed the Vishwarup in his mouth, and that mesmerized the Arjuna. And then, what about that? There is so much opulences. So, how can you explain to me what that means when we showed the Vishwarupa in his mouth?
Okay, Vishwarupa, that's in chapter 11, universal form. Okay, so what's special or what unique about it is Vishwarupa form of the Lord is not a transcendental form. What acharyas, what I've heard from senior devotees is that it is also part of this material world only. Yeah. So this we don't have, like, for example, to understand this better, I'll say like Varaha avatar or Narsimha avatar. We have planets of Varaha or Narsimhadev in the Vaikunta. In the Vaikunta lok, there are many planets. So one of the Vaikunta will be Narsimha planet. But we don't have a separate planet for the universal form. Virat Roop does not have, because this is part of the material world, and material at that time it's a temporary manifestation of the Lord shown to tell Arjuna, Re Baba, these people are already killed and I am capable of doing it. But you do, and you be an instrument and you take the credit. So he's saying just be a nimitta matram, because already their fate is pre-decided by me. And that's what he shows, like, fire from his mouth, and like moths get attracted and they get killed, right? So similarly, all these Kaurava parties are getting into the mouth, and whoever got killed there, they all got. So Arjuna, or he's getting an idea. So yeah, that's our understanding about the universal form.
So that is not one of the opulences then? That is not one of the opulences of Krishna? That he is
universal form?
Yes.
I'm not sure how to answer this, Prabhuji, because opulence is,
That's my confusion, because Krishna showed him what he's all the opulences, then Krishna, Arjuna is still asking him. So
I will tell you that. Actually, if you see from that perspective, Krishna already revealed some of his opulences in chapter 7 and few in chapter 9. Yeah, the previous episode. So if you go by that, he's telling you, tell some more about you, because Krishna has already told in Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita also that first two, like he says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, Matta Sarvam. So he says, from me only this material world and the spiritual worlds emanate. So that is the case. Everything, actually, if you pin down, everything is originating from Krishna, and everything is Krishna only. Yeah, because he is Sarvagata, Sarvavyapi, all pervading, right? Either him or through his energy, and both are non-different because it is coming from the absolute truth. Krishna. So that could be a reason why Arjuna is saying you tell more, because I'm never satiated to hear about you, and that too you're there in person. I want to hear more from you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
If I may just add to what you just said, I think the first part is in chapter 10. Krishna describes his opulence, and in after hearing this, Arjuna wanted to see, because as we have seen earlier, this Bhagavad Gita is for the mass. Arjuna is a transcendental person. He's a great devotee of Krishna, and Arjuna knows about Krishna's opulence. But it shouldn't happen later on that if Krishna doesn't show his opulence, people might say, "Oh, Krishna has just told this, but we have not seen this."
Yes, right.
It's basically it's relatable in that context. And after Krishna shows the opulence, and after Arjuna experiences whole thing, then he says, "I would just like to see your Sham Sundara form, because this is
Yes.
what is actually pleasing for my heart." So that is the understanding that we have to get, because that's the beauty lies when Krishna is in the Tribhanga form holding the flute. I think that form is what we have to capture in our heart all the time. Thank you.
This reminds me, actually, I wanted to end the class with one sloka from Brahma Samhita, which is Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Gunaswarup. So actually there, Krishna is reminding me to tell this, because now again we ended with Sham Sundar form, because those who are having that Sham Sundar form in their heart, not having attraction towards that universal or Virat Rup, only for them, they'll have that. Okay, those who have, how they will have, because they're having the love of Godhead in their eyes. Premanjana Churita. Only that person who can see everything in relation to the Lord. And for that relativity only, Krishna has given us the list of opulences. Right? So when he sees everything in connection with the Lord, then he will be able to see the Sham Sundar who is there in his own heart. Right? Even Alakuvira and Manigriva, when the last prayer they offered to the Lord before they left, what they say is, we are paying obeisances to, any guesses to whom they wanted to give obeisances?
To all the moving and non-moving.
Yes. Thank you, Kalai Mataji. To all the entities, because they understood they are all representing Krishna. Everything is emanating from Krishna only. In that mood, they are saying we want to pay obeisances to everything in this world. So they have achieved that Premanjana Churita. For them, Shamasundara will be manifested. The two-handed.
So just to add to what he said, one is Divya Chakshu, one is Divya Prema Chakshu.
Yes. That's right.
Thank you so much, His Grace Amalarjan Prabhuji. We're very happy to see you and hear from you again. Prabhuji has given class to our Bhatnush Sangha before, so we're very happy to have him back. And also thank you so much to Her Grace Manoharini Mataji for such an exquisite lecture. We definitely learned so much from you today, and we really hope that we can hear more from you again in the future, as well as Amalarjan Prabhuji. We hope we can hear from both of you and get your association again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now we're going to move on to the final part of our program today, which is Arati. And even though we're running a bit late, we really appreciate each and every one of you for staying back with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. But I would like to take leave now, because it's going to be 10 o'clock in the night here.
Yes, definitely, Mataji. We will not hold you back. We're sorry that it's a bit late for you, but so we really appreciate you taking out your valuable time for us today.
The feeling is mutual, Matajis and Prabhujis who are gathered there. Thank you so much. Please kindly accept my humble obeisances to each and every one of you. Vanchakalpadrubhyashcha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru Maharaj ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you to Lakshman Prabhuji as well. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
So just